Craig, Whitehaven away in the season opener on Sunday afternoon. We'll touch upon that in just a moment, but the Wakefield for the Championship League launch this afternoon. We've done the Challenge Cup draw, Warrington at home. Should we progress to the third round? What's your take on the news?
Yeah, it's a Super League club at home, isn't it? Obviously, if we get through the round against Whitehaven, um, whether it's us or whether it's Whitehaven that's playing, it'll be a real good occasion. You'd expect, you want to play against the best, don't you? And Warrington is certainly one of them teams up there at the top end of the Super League. So it'll be great for some of our boys if we do play them to pit ourselves against some real top quality individuals.
It feels like ages ago now since we've come back in for pre-season, 2 months in now, and as I said, this season opener on Sunday awaits us. But as I say, the trip to Batley pre-season game unfortunately cancelled. How much is that kind of disrupted preparations for this weekend?
Yeah, it's disappointing because some of our players haven't played the game as yet for either injury reasons or unavailability reasons due for the Keighley game pre-Christmas. So some guys have not had minutes, which they would have got on Sunday against Batley. So it's disappointing for them, I guess, and disappointing for me that it would have allowed me to try a few different combinations at different areas on the field as well, to have a look at them. And it's a different situation than on the training field. You know, when you're in a full-blown contact game against another opposition, it's very, very different to training against your own teammates on a pitch on a Tuesday or a Thursday evening. So it's a bit frustrating, but the teams have had their games cancelled as well. So it's certainly something we're just going to have to roll with. And I guess some players are going to miss out on that opportunity to play and put themselves in the window over some of the other guys that have already played.
This time, last year, 6 weeks late into pre-season, we didn't really have that pre-season that you said that you wanted. This year's been completely different. Do you feel like you've got out of it what you wanted to get out of this pre-season?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a bit of a different pre-season because the number of players that we've brought in, we've spent a lot of time focusing on developing that relationship off the field. First and foremost, because of the number of players that have come in, and it's a brand new group, and different people coming in from different clubs and getting used to other people in that environment as well. So as I mentioned previously, that the Saturday morning sessions we've focused more on the fitness conditioning element, but also the time away from the rugby field, just spending time with each other and getting just chatting and building them connections. And I guess we've lost maybe 4 or 5 field sessions, which we ordinarily would pencil into a pre-season. But I thought it was really, really important that we focus on that element more than anything else. As we can see with the weather as it is now and as it's been over the last few weeks, it's pretty abysmal. So we sort of factored that into the reasons we've done that pre-season wise as well, because we think the pre-season, the first 2, 3, 4 games of the season, we're going to have to contend with this weather. So it's going to be a bit of a slog-a-thon, I would imagine, the first few games. So hopefully developing that connectivity off the field will help us develop that connectivity and togetherness and tightness on the field as well.
Talking about connectivity, players getting to know each other, 7-8 hour round trip on Sunday up to Whitehaven. Are you feeling ahead of the trip there?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be on. First and foremost, I want it to be on because the last thing we want is for the game to be postponed either for a waterlogged pitch or for a frozen pitch, and we've got to travel up there mid-season on a Wednesday or a Thursday night, which is never great for a part-time team. So first and foremost, hopefully the game's on. And I guess for me as a coach in these conditions, like I previously said, it gives me a good indicator to see where we are. It's always nice to have that ability to win tough, to win ugly, to win in conditions like this, and then hopefully when the ground firms up and the weather gets nice and the sun's shining, that we've hopefully got the players that we've recruited in that can play some exciting rugby in that. But you've got to learn to win games in different conditions and different formats as well. And I think certainly this week, if we go up there and the game's on, it's going to be a bit of a slugfest with the ball being concentrated down the middle of the park. So it's maybe not going to be one for free flowing rugby, but it'll be certainly one for the purists.
I know, obviously, we've not been in action this weekend, but Whitehaven were a trip to Workington. What do you know about them as a side in this season opener?
I've not watched that game as yet. I'll be watching that game tomorrow morning and having a look at them. Looking at the squad that they've put together, it seems to be fundamentally a lot of local people up there, a lot of local guys up there. I guess the finances will dictate that as well. But I think, for me personally, I think it's really important for Cumbrian teams to develop their own players and have a strong Cumbrian base up there as well. So I think there'll be a lot of the players that I don't know a great deal about. So I'm going to have to do a bit of research on some of them individuals as well. And so watching that game on from the weekend will give me a little bit of an indicator to see what some of their abilities might be. But having just watching them for 80 minutes won't give me the full picture. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of due diligence on some of their players and bring around a few people that have played against them and coach them and find out what I can find out.
I know they won't be the only side coming into this campaign not knowing what to expect this year. As I say, the merger of the Championship and League One for this year. So do you expect them similar teams as well to maybe find the first few games a bit tough as they find their feet in the Championship this year?
It's a difficult one. I don't know, to be fair, because they might come in full of confidence. As you said, they're coming up from the old League One into the Championship, and they might not have played some of the players might not have played at the level consistently that you get at the top end of the Championship or within Championship. Whenever you go up to Cumbria, regardless of what team you're playing and who you're playing, it's always tough. It's always physical. They always put you into a battle, and you've got to earn the wins up in Cumbria. So the names might not jump out off the paper at you, but I know full well that we're going to go up there, we're going to get a contest, and we're going to get punched on the nose if we're not prepared.
And as I say, for the trip up to Cumbria, you mentioned a couple of players that weren't involved for the that pre-season game before Christmas at Keighley. How's everyone shaping up? Have we got people returning for Sunday?
Yeah, I think fitness-wise in the squad, I think we're pretty much all there. I've got a couple that are carrying niggles, but nothing too significant. So it might be a case of that we choose to leave some people out and allow them the opportunity to have another week's worth of recovery, so they're 100% rather than 85-90%. So fitness-wise, we've done all right through pre-season. Alex Foster's returned back to full training, which is pleasing. Marcus Green's returned back to full training as well after his little absence with an injury. But other than that, we've got a couple of niggles. But outside of that, we've been pretty healthy all the way through pre-season.
And everyone in the squad raring to go. New season, hopefully 2 points to start the year.
Hopefully, mate. Yeah, we don't take anything for granted in any game, but certainly travelling up to Cumbria, I know. Knowing us up there as well, I think he'll have them ready to go, and we're expecting a real tough contest.